Okay, so welcome to the stage. Oh, sorry, no, we're going to start with a video, my bad. So this is a video from Joe.
Happy birthday.
Just before my son turned 2, we left everything behind. Sold all of our material possessions, bought a one-way ticket, and came to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I made him a promise. I promised that I was going to offer him the adventure of a lifetime, that I was going to teach him courage, and that no matter what I do, I stay in my lane, but live life with passion. My dream was to build a business that is location independent, that allows me to work on my individual development, but that will also allow me to have a positive social impact in other people's lives. I want to inspire people to have a purpose behind their journey, because purpose gives meaning. The meaning of getting out of bed every morning, especially when you don't want to. I traveled to Philippines in November 2018 to meet my virtual assistant team, and I was honored to see the level of work ethic and how they give 100% in our eBay business. It reminded me of how fortunate I really am to have the opportunities that I do. I learned that loyalty is not defined by geographic boundaries. My team has been the most loyal, hardworking, kind, giving, and respectful towards me, my business, and our money. I now consider them my family, and I strive to be better for them as well.
And I want to speak to my team now. We have something special. We really do. And I want to continue that, and I want us to do well and be successful. Not just money, because money is not everything in life. I just want us to stay close and work hard and make good things happen.
Money is allowing us to cultivate the right influence and share our message to the world. This is what makes a good business a great one. I hope that with my message, it serves people to do good, no matter how they choose to express that. I'm happy I kept my promise to my son, and I will continue to work on myself for the rest of my life.
Thank you. Actually, to lighten up the mood a little bit, thank you, Luke, for the introduction. I've always wanted to be introduced by someone with a British accent, so I guess I can cross that off my list. Hey, everyone, I'm Joe. I'm here today to talk about the things that you want to consider before you're scaling your business or hiring your first VA, and also why having a personal code of conduct is actually important to your business and your personal life. It's going to take your business from good to great. I actually need the clicker. Oh, it's on the floor. I'm going to start with a personal story. My talk is pretty personal. My grandfather was actually an economist. He was responsible for paying the workers at the farm at the end of each month. And they were coming up to our home and waiting for the name to be called. And they were just speaking to my grandfather, and he'll get the pay for them. I was 4 at the time, and my job at the time was to call in the person by their name and walk him in and welcome, make him feel comfortable until it was their time. What was fascinating to me was how my grandfather actually treated these people. So they're farm workers, not necessarily, educated people, but he really treated them with respect and kindness. So besides the pay and the money he was giving them, he was asking about the family, their kids, and their friends, and that really fascinated me. So I decided to do the same thing. I decided to, when I was welcoming them, and to ask them about personal things. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Well, what that happened was, after they got paid, they would give me 1 lei to 2 lei, which is the money in Romania, for being a kind little girl. So I guess I had the hustling from the beginning. What I really learned actually was that kindness does pay and has rewards. And what was important to me is that money is not the root of all evil that we think it is. With money, we can do great things and have an abundant mentality. So that's kind of like my introduction. My name is Joanne. I run several online businesses, of which I'm going to be speaking about. And well, Gary Vaynerchuk is one of the idols that I look up to, and he actually is inspiring me to run my business with care. He says, we're living in what I like to call the thank you economy, because only the companies that can figure out how to mind their manners in a very old-fashioned way and do it authentically are going to have a pair of competing. And he's right. So Well, I was born and raised in communist Romania, and if I were to explain communism, I thought about it. I decided to just choose one photo. This is it. This is the building I was raised in, grew up in. So to explain communism, everybody's the same, thinks the same, dresses the same. You're not allowed to actually think and stand out and be a different person. If you are, you're going to be sent to jail or given a heart attack or killed, literally. So, well, the holes that you see in this building were actually the holes from gunshots and bullet and grenades. This actually happened in Revolution 1989. I was 9 years old at the time, and it was a pretty traumatic experience for me because, well, it's never fun to see your friends getting killed. And, well, it was tough times, but through all these tough times, I realized that the most important possession that I had was actually my family. And family does come before hustle, before money. And even to this day, that's the most important thing. After the revolution, we immigrated to Toronto, Canada, beautiful town. And this is another period of adjustment for me and my family. Well, this time we're in a different society, so we had to be different now, not the same. And we had to speak, a different language. And it's kind of interesting, I had to be very mindful of my accent, which I still have, so I don't get picked on. Now I don't care because I speak 6 languages, so take that. The first time I saw a computer, I was, I believe, 17, 18 years old. You have to understand where I come from. I come from an environment where this is my TV. Literally. Okay, well, not this, but like this. It was a black and white TV with 2 knobs and 3 channels that were watching communist songs. So for me, to see a computer was kind of like seeing a rocket ship. It was the most exciting thing to me, so it became my hobby. I was taking it apart, putting it together. Sometimes it didn't work. But I made it work, and I learned computers. I self-taught myself computers inside and out. So with that skill, I decided to enter the corporate world at 21 years of age. I hated the corporate world. It was gray, kind of like the building you saw at the beginning. It reminded me of communism. I just felt trapped. I had to follow all these rules that I didn't want to follow. I'm not good at following rules. So the problem with that was that in this corporate world, it reminded me of communism. I actually have a good story to tell. I applied for this job at Porter Airlines at Toronto, Canada, and I went to the final interview. The technical manager really loved me, my personality, and my skills, but I had to follow the process, and I had to see the HR manager. So she brings me into the office, she sits me down, she measures me up and down. And she asked me one very important question. She says, hey, if you were to take off your nose ring, would you do it? And if you did, you would get the job. So I looked at her, and after 3 seconds, I said, can I swear? Fuck no. So that was not the right answer. But I didn't want to be judged for a piece of metal in my nose, which I'm sure you can probably barely see it. I wanted to be judged by my resume. So I walked away. Of course, I didn't get the job. But the most important thing about the story is that 3 months later, the manager called me back frantically, and he said, hey, the person we actually hired initially resigned, so we would like to offer you the job. We want to give you a raise, and you get to keep your nose ring. I didn't take the job, but I kept my nose ring. So anyways, during this time, unfortunately, if a lot of bad things didn't happen to me, well, she's my mom, and my mom, unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer and eventually died. From this experience, it was our last talk that was probably one of the defining moments of my life. I saw this sheer regret in her eyes. She was a very intelligent woman. She was an architect back home in Romania, but what she really wanted to do, surprisingly, was to paint. She wanted to be an artist, and she wanted to buy a Harley Davidson and ride it in the desert. She never got to do that, unfortunately. And that experience in itself, I guess her death kind of gave me the privilege and the opportunity to live my own life and, do my own things and take risks in life. And, well, it was a period of confusion in my life there. I was a party girl. And I'm mentioning this because I'm sure there's a lot of people here in their 20s that they're very confused about their life and they feel like they should have things figured out. Don't. Really be in your journey and know that you're where you're supposed to be. And so this is my time, I'm partying, and I don't have a purpose in my life until my purpose came. So I do honor the talk to my son. My son really did change my life. I realized through the home birth I had with him that I am capable of doing whatever I want. And by whatever I want, I decided not to go back to the corporate world. I sold everything I had in Toronto, including my condo and everything, all the material possessions. I bought a one-way ticket to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and decided to move there with my son. So September 2014 is actually when my digital nomad journey has started with my son. So the thought, everybody's got a plan to go there and to only start doing their hustle on the side. I didn't do that. I decided to just jump right in. So the idea of moving to Playa del Carmen with no job, no savings, no idea of how I was going to make money with that kid sounded ridiculous, right? Well, I knew that there's an opportunity for me to make money online because I met a lady the year before I moved to Playa in Argentina, Iguazu Falls. It's beautiful falls. I recommend you visit it. And she was with her 2 boys. And I asked her what she's doing for a living, and she says she's a professional blogger. She travels the world and she homeschools her kids, and that's how she gets things funded for her. That was awesome. That's exactly what I wanted for myself. But I didn't want to be a blogger. I just knew that I wanted to build an online business. I just didn't know how. So in my quest of discovering this, I decided to do 2 businesses, online businesses, and I failed them both. The first one is, if you can guess, I decided to sell t-shirts on Shopify. And that failed miserably because, well, I was trying to control the market, but that's not the way to go. The market controls you. I was really trying to sell t-shirts that nobody wanted to buy. The second online business was actually Juice Plus business. It's like a vitamin supplement business. I failed that miserably after 3 months. The reason why is because, well, I was selling products that I didn't believe in to my family and friends. And when your energy is not there, it's gonna show. So I said, screw it, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Now, the problem is my debts were piling up really fast, so I had to come up with an idea. And just like Lewis, the last talk, I went down the rabbit hole in Google. So I started Googling, and I found the Bible. So I read the Bible. And, well, I don't necessarily believe in the 4-hour work week, but I do believe that you have to build a cash flow business. And I wanted to build one that suits my personality. I didn't want to be doing blogging or anything like that. So again, I went down the rabbit hole and I discovered eBay Dropshipping. Now, it's not the same as Lewis's style. So my eBay Dropshipping is what's called eBay arbitrage. Is anybody here familiar with that? Okay, so for the 2 people out there not. eBay Dropshipping arbitrage, I'm going to explain it to you, is I needed to make sure that there's no physical inventory. I live in Mexico, so I didn't want to do FBA or anything that I needed to hold stock. So what I did is I would place my orders with the source in United States because I'm running my business on ebay.com and the sources need to be in United States. So some of the sources that I use are Home Depot, Lowe's, Bed Bath & Beyond, so big companies that everybody knows. And so what I do is I buy the product from them once the order is placed, and so the profit, very obvious, is the difference between what you charge your customers and what the supplier charges you, minus the fees, eBay fees and PayPal fees. Pretty simple, right? Well, not necessarily. So I went down again the rabbit hole, desperate, and I found David Vu's Udemy course, which is the eBay dropshipping without an inventory. For those that don't know David Vu, actually, he was a speaker last year, and I encourage you to actually Google him. His speech is very inspirational to me. His course was very transparent about how much money he made, how he did it, but what I really liked about it, if you guessed it, it was very holistic. It was not just about the money and the profit. It was about building a business with heart. So I jumped on it. And so I believe December 30th is when I bought the course. 3 days later, January 2nd, I decided to start listing 20 listings a day, minimum $400 a month. 400 listings a month. That's kind of like my grind. I decided that no matter what, I have to do this. That's kind of like air. So when you don't have an option, that's what you do. I guess when we don't move forward is when we have too many options. Well, I only had one, this. So I did that. I made a pact with myself and I said, if I list 20 listings and after a day I don't get a sale, I need to move back to Toronto because I was in a lot of debt. Luckily, the universe was on my side this time. And so this is my first sale. It's a makeup mirror. The cool thing about it is actually I bought this mirror to remind myself of my first sale. So I made $12 profit on it, which is awesome, right? The first month I made about $250 or $247, and I hired a VA after, I would say, 9 months. So after I made my first profit of $250, I knew this business works. All I have to do is I have to work it myself. So every day, 20 listings a day, I did that. Within 6 to 7 months, I made a consistent $5,000 a month profit after expenses. And after 18 months, I got to a consistent $10,000 in profit after expenses. A lot of money for me. And I was very proud of this because it made a big impact in my life. Within 18 months, I managed to pay my $25,000 debt. And I did it with David Ramsey's strategy. If you are in debt, I really encourage you to Google him. It will help you and change your life. And this is my current revenue. So the first year obviously made a huge impact in my life. Second year is when I tripled my revenue, but it was really the third year that took off. What did I do in the third year that was different? I'll tell you, I didn't change the strategy. I worked the same amount of hours, and I did the same things. I mean, I tweaked it because eBay dropshipping arbitrage it's a little different now, but really what I focused on was personal development. Because in any type of business that you do, mindset is everything. Everything, no matter what you do. It will help you keep going, and it will help you stay on course, and it will help you define your purpose. So this mastermind group is something that I created with my business partner that's actually here with us today. We met in a mastermind group. And everybody talks about mentors and masterminds, and it did make a difference in my life as well. We connected there, we started working on projects together, and we really wanted to give back to the community and help them be successful as well. So we created this mastermind group, and initially it was for free, and the group grew. We do a lot of webinars, a lot of research, and a lot of resources. So it's full of a lot of useful information. It grew so much where we had to actually start to hire resources to create different services for our mastermind. So with that, obviously, we needed to start charging so we can manage the operation. The membership is $99 a month. And the reason why I'm showing this graph is simply because you can have your cake and eat it too. What I mean by that is you can be a nice person and not do any Facebook ads, any marketing. You don't have to do promotion. You can simply use your reputation and your ethical values, business values, to promote your business. This is strictly from reputation, and I'm very proud to show this. So the membership actually has a service that we offer, is the VA services. A lot of people think they're ready to scale their business, but they really are not. So there's 4 musts that I like to talk about. The first one is probably the most obvious one. You must understand your business. I know I'm being Captain Obvious here, but with eBay dropshipping, a lot of people do want to scale their business because they want to get rid of doing that work, that grind work. You have to make sure you're in the right business for you. No matter what you do, blogging, whatever your business may be, make sure you're in the right business for you. I took a program by Marie Forleo, and it helped me design and define the type of business I want to be. I don't want to be an Amazon. I don't want to be a big Uber. I don't want to be a big IBM. I just want to be Joanne. I want it to be a holistic, small boutique style business. And this program really helped me do that. You have to know every aspect of your work so you can train someone else. Again, I'm being obvious. If you're only doing your business for 3-4 months and you decide to scale your business, you're gonna fail. And so is your VA. You really need to know and encounter all the challenges there is before you hire someone. And gradually scale your business. So when I first hired my VA, I gave her 1 task at a time so she can learn a business like I did in time. Second one is you must be mentally, financially ready to hire someone. So what I mean by that is everyone here wants to make money. I get it. And everybody's skilled in doing that. We're here today, the digital nomad. We have figured out a way to make money online. But I really want to stress to you to chase freedom and happiness, not just profit. Because when you have challenges, if you're not passionate about what you do, you're going to quit, or you're just going to hate it. You're going to end up just working like a corporate job that I'm sure many of us don't really want to do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. And run the numbers. You have to know whether or not your business is actually making profit before you scale. I spoke to people and my members, and they want to scale, and I would ask them, how much profit do you actually make in your business? And they'll give me their revenue, like, oh, I'm making $100,000 of revenue. Yeah, but how much of that is profit? And then we did the numbers, and they're actually in the negative. So you shouldn't be hiring. what I do in my dropshipping business, and I tell people, you should be actually listing 3,000 items by yourself and have at least 6 months experience before you scale. And that sounds like an impossible number, and if it does, you're not ready to scale. You must hire smart. Spend time researching and training. So your team really should share your own values and personality and traits and desires and goals. I want to be location independent. I don't want to grow a business that's a corporate business. I want to be boutique style. I want to work with people that they're like-minded like me. They're entrepreneurs. They think outside the box. And my team totally reflects that. We're not chained to the desk, and that's how I like to have it. Take advantage of location arbitrage. If you want to hire, you want to scale, you can use Upwork.com. Lots of great professionals from Asia and Eastern Europe, in Europe, that they're definitely more affordable than if you were to hire in the United States. And once you hire, I use a tool called Zoom.com. Zoom is great. It's kind of like speaking to them face to face. You can share your screen. It's just like, having them in your room and vice versa. Great tool to use. My favorite thing is you must have a personal code of conduct that helps up-level you. I'm going to go back to this slide a bit. So this slide is really, if you have any questions of whether or not the eBay dropshipping model still works in 2019, I hope this slide will answer you that question. It does. But what you really need to focus on is your personal code of conduct, your personal development, your mindset. So I'm going to share my own 5 code of conducts that really help my business and my personal life. The first one is be practical and have control over your money. So in the second year, I don't know if you noticed, but after I paid off my debt, all of a sudden I have $10,000 in my pocket, all mine. So I decided to just keep spending and make it rain. I mean, I had money now. The problem with that is I didn't realize how was I making more money than the year before, but I had less money than the year before. And so I sat down and I got realistic with myself and I realized, oh, Joanne, you're spending a lot of money on dumb stuff. So I got this book by Ramit Sethi, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. The title in itself is very cheesy, but there's a saying in the book that says, everyone is teaching you how to save money, but nobody's teaching you how to spend money. And it's very true. We over leverage our business to show off on social media that we're a bigger business than we are, and that's not a good idea. Really run your numbers down and try to use the money that you have and you make, you invest it back in yourself and try to maybe learn a little bit more about investing. And when I did that, obviously it made a difference. And in my business, finally, I feel like my profit is going where it should be. The second thing is manage your state of mind and physical health. I've always been kind of an active girl. I do things. I'm an outdoor kind of girl, but I never really took it seriously until the 3rd year because I noticed that when I worked out, I was a better person. I was a better businesswoman. I made better decisions, and I was able to really quiet down the chatter in my head. I don't know about you, or maybe it's a woman thing, but our mind is running a 24/7. And the only way I could really control it is by working out and putting myself through a really tough physical activity. So I really started to take it seriously. Of course, I procrastinate because I'm a human being, but I do work out religiously, and it makes a huge difference in my life. If you need an inspirational person, because I'm not the one, I suggest you read David Goggins' book. This guy is a machine. And if you don't have time to read his book, watch his podcast on Joe Rogan. He's a machine and truly inspirational. Number 3 is always choose to do the right thing. Gary Vaynerchuk is someone I truly look up to. I've had the opportunity many times to spend time with him and meet with him, and he always says and stresses to me, before you do anything in life, think about the value you bring with your product or service. Make sure that the customers are happy. So I totally believe that. The customer is always right. And if you have to really fight that idea with yourself, you're not ready to scale your business or not ready to make more money. The customer is always right because they invest money in your business, and you need to respect and honor that. Doing the right thing also means that you have to make some really difficult decisions in life. For example, you have maybe virtual assistants that they don't work well for you. You might have to let them go. Maybe you're working on a project that you really love, but it's not really producing the results that you want. You need to let that go. Also, in personal life, which is also very important, you might have to let go of people that they're very toxic in your life. And that sometimes is a very difficult decision because you feel like you owe them your presence. Doing the right thing is not all sunshine and butterflies, but it will bring meaning to your life, and you have to have the courage to do that. Number 4 is cultivate gratitude everywhere you go. I've been through a lot, for sure, but I feel that my traumas actually are an opportunity to be grateful. I'm standing here today speaking to you about my journey, and that's a gratitude in itself. I encourage you to maybe take a journal and write the cheesy things every day. I'm grateful for my life. I know it sounds cheesy, but they have such a big impact in your life. I know they do in mine. Dr. Jordan Peterson says that if you want to change the world, you got to start by cleaning up your room. So I do a small thing, actually, of doing my bed every morning, no matter where I am. My hotel, my home. It just kind of sets the tone of, I have an opportunity now. I'm still alive. I'm in Thailand with you guys. And it's a great reminder that I do have a chance to make it better. The last thing I want to talk about is be consistent so your words match your actions. We're all here today to get inspired, myself included. And we go to seminars, we read books, we listen to podcasts. They inspire us and they get us all jived up. But knowledge is not power. Acting on it is power. And so I really want to encourage you to really walk the walk and not just really get inspired and write it down on a piece of paper. And I say that, and the hardest thing to do is to forgive yourself for the things you haven't done yet. Like me, the only reason why I wanted to show up the slide of me partying, not because I wanted to show off, but you might be in a place in your life right now where you feel stuck and numb. You need to really accept that about yourself and accept your shadow. I had dinner last night, and I did say something to someone kind of a similar, that they weren't really following up with their project. And I said, when that project becomes as important as your breathing, you will make it happen. So, in summary, these are my code of conduct, the rules, and I'm not here to tell you how to run your business. You're all our experts in your field. But I want to remind you to be practical with the money that you make. It's your responsibility. Manage your state of mind and also your body. Treat your body like it's a temple. Always choose to do the right thing. Cultivate gratitude every single day and be thankful you're still alive. And be consistent so your words match your actions. If there's one thing I want to leave you guys with is don't give up on your dreams and never lose sight of your values. And what I mean by that is just do you. The only way you can have a positive impact in this life is just by being authentically you. So you can find me here in my journey, and thank you for your time.
Put your hands together for Joe. Wow, that was a really deeply personal talk. That was really great. Thank you, Joe. Anyone got any questions? Anywhere? No? None? Ah. Can you stand up? Oh.
Hello, and thank you. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm always curious, and this has come up in my mind a couple of times. Everybody can see that there's a viable way to do business, whether it's dropshipping or whatever the business is. But then sometimes the self-doubt creeps in and you're like, well, yes, they can do it, but maybe not me. I'm just curious to know what helped you kind of get through and say, yes, it's me who can do it and, be successful.
Yeah, it's a great question. Actually, I did kind of mention it a bit at the beginning when I was speaking about my